All right, welcome everybody to Home-Based Business 101. It's Meredith Banka here with you, and tonight we are going to talk about sales and why sales is not a dirty word. I think that so many of us come to entrepreneurship and home-based business with some concepts around sales, and it's really one of the areas where I see entrepreneurs shrink back, like push away from the table. They don't want to have anything to do with the sales process because it's scary. They've been sold to in smarmy, yucky ways in the past. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to, and they don't want to feel like they're pushing their product or service onto other people. But at the same time, we have to have a selling process if we're going to grow our business. So where does that leave you? What do you do? How do you possibly show up in a sales environment with integrity, with authenticity, with your client's best interests first before your own business interests? And how do you do this in a way that can, at the end of the day, feel really good in your heart? Well, if you've ever asked yourself any of those questions, then tonight is the night for us to remove that mystery, pull back the curtain, and share with you some of the top sales tips that I've learned from mentors in my life that have really helped me to level up my engagement, level up my clientele, and really begin to see the success that I wanted to from a sales process. And I'm here to tell you that you can do it too, and that you do not have to walk away from your values and from really what's in your heart about serving other people through the business that you are here to build. So again, welcome everyone. We're so glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead and for those of you that are catching this on a video version, I am going to go ahead and share my screen here in just a moment. And I'm going to pull up for you. Whoops, I'm not going to share my desktop. That doesn't really work out very well, does it? I'm going to go ahead and pull up for you something that I have put together that is called the Side Gig Guru's Sales Script. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, a sales script? Yuck. But what's included in the sales script, and I'm pretty straightforward, I'm pretty direct in the way that I coach and the way that I teach. There's not a lot of time in this life. We've got a lot to get done. So we don't want to just fill it with a bunch of fluff. We want to get right to the point. If we're not loving the sales process, then we want to figure out a way to get there, and we need a template to follow. So maybe if you don't like the word script, call it template, and we're going to walk through. There's 10 top tips in this template that are going to help you. And at the end of this, if you would like to get this sales template, you can either get a copy of it in the comments of the podcast, or you can drop me a comment in the group and I will be happy to send it to you. And by the way, if you're not a member of the Side Gig Gurus group yet, for those of you listening in, I would absolutely love for you to find us on Facebook. We've got a great group there where we go live once a week and do trainings just like this one. So before we dive into the 10-step process that's going to help you level up your game when it comes to sales, I want to talk a little bit about authority. Really the frame that you have to have, the frame of mind, the posture that you have to have when you are in a sales environment, even if you are an introvert. I am actually really, really introverted. You probably would never think that about me because here I am, I'm on camera, I'm doing all these things. But truly, I enjoy, just as much as I enjoy this time here with you, I also enjoy time by myself, really just having that balance. And so it's okay if you're that person. You don't have to be, a showman in order to be successful. And in fact, the less of kind of a razzle dazzle person you are, the more luck you're probably going to have. And here's why. People want to, and you've heard it before, they want to know, like, and trust who they're doing business with. And the reason you've heard it before is because it's the truth. But they also want people that are displaying and expressing a level of confidence, a level of posture, and a level of authority, because the sales process is really all about a transference of trust and a transference of knowledge. It is a transference of energy. The person that is coming to you has a problem that they are looking to solve. And that problem may be something as small as they really want like a really cute new pair of leggings to go on their vacation over spring break, and they've had a hard time finding them. It doesn't have to be an earth-shattering, life-changing problem that they're looking to solve. Maybe their problem is just they need some cute pants. Or maybe the problem is a larger scale. Maybe the problem is man, I really want to learn how to do Facebook ads, but I don't know how to do that. I'm really freaked out, but I think I should be able to do it. I've wasted a bunch of money on it. And before I waste any more money, I need somebody to teach me how to do this. And they've got a lot of energy behind it. And it does feel like a much bigger decision than a pair of pants. But either way, both of those people have a problem and they're looking for you to help them solve the problem. That's why you've got the authority, because you've got the solution. They are looking for you to have the solution. And in order to be seen as a solution provider, you've got to have a certain amount of authority. You've got to have a certain amount of confidence. You've got to have a significant amount of certainty. You've got to know that what you have is going to solve that person's problem, and you've got to allow them the opportunity to see that. And that's going to happen through the relationship that you build with them during this dreaded sales process, this process of building the relationship. So imagine that you have a tennis court. And imagine on one side of the tennis court is your prospect. In this graphic, it's called them. And imagine on the other side of the tennis court is you. And what's in between you is a net. What's beyond you is the unknown. And you're trying to pull this person from their side of the tennis court over the net into your side of the court where they can do business with you. But they've got some things on their other side of the court that are pulling them back. They've got objections that you frequently hear. They've got time objections. Oh, I'm not sure I have the time to do this. Money objections. Oh, I'm not sure I can afford it. Spouse. I need to talk to my spouse about it. Or my spouse isn't supportive of this. Or I might do it, but I don't want my spouse to know. You guys ever heard that one before? Or I just need to think about it. I'm just not sure. I'm kind of waffling. Or, maybe, gosh, I've heard a lot about these opportunities. They're kind of saturated. Like, couldn't I just get this on Amazon? Whatever it might be. That's why you've got to have a process that you're confident in to walk people through. And that's the 10-point process that I'm going to share with you all here tonight. So let's just dive into this really quickly. I'm not going to go through this entire thing tonight. I'm just going to touch on these top points. If you would like to get access to this template, again, just drop me a comment here. If you're watching me live in the group, just drop a comment that says template. I'll send it right over. Or if you're catching this on the podcast, we're going to link it directly in the podcast notes so that you have access to it straight away. So part one, all about the opening, be brief. Hey, and this template can be used in multiple scenarios, I should say, but it is most highly likely to be used in some kind of phone, person-to-person, or Zoom communication with somebody, assuming that you get to the point where you need to have a personal conversation with someone in order for them to purchase your product or service. If you're an e-commerce, business owner, there's definitely some things here for you to learn that are going to influence the way that you build your checkout process. But if you have a hands-off, meaning not requiring any kind of person-to-person interaction sales process, this may not directly apply to you, but I still think that there's some learnings here, especially if you're ever going to consider layering in any kind of higher ticket item into your business. These points are really important. So point one, be brief. Hey, how's it going? I'm Meredith. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Hey, great. If possible, make a point of connection. Oh, I've been there. I love it there. My family's from there. Whatever. Oh, it's cold here too. We've had so much snow, blah, 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 blah. But you just want to keep that pretty brief. And then you want to set the agenda. This is where you're going to actually give yourself the opportunity to create the authority. You're going to tell somebody how this interaction is going to go because they don't know. They just got onto this call with you because they've got a problem and they think you might be able to solve it, but they don't know what to expect. So you need to be the leader. You need to be the one that says to them, hey, let me tell you how this call is going to go. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to let you know whether or not I think you're a fit for the solutions that I provide. And if I'm not, I'll tell you because I value your time and I know you value my time. So if during our conversation, and this really is a conversation, if during our conversation, I don't think this is a fit, I'll let you know. And we can go from there. And if I know of someone or something that can help you, I want to let you know that too. Value, value, value. I'm in control of the conversation and I'm adding value because I actually care. Because at the beginning of this conversation, I'm not just here to sell somebody something. I'm here to see if this person is a candidate to work with me. Are they somebody that not only do I want to work with, but that I can help? It is so attractive when you are new in the entrepreneurial space to say yes to trying to sell everyone who comes across your path. And that is not the right decision. You need to be patient. There are going to be some people that enter into your stratosphere that are not the right fit for your product or service. If you say yes to them only to take the money, not only are you devaluing yourself and your offer, you're chipping away at your own mindset, and you're doing a disservice to the person who thought that they were going to get something other than what they did. Don't be that person, because that is what makes sales a dirty word, is that kind of behavior. So don't do it. Instead, be really honest. Hey, I know what I have. I know who I can help. I want to see if you're that person. And if you are, I'll let you know. If you're not, hey, I know a lot of people, and maybe, I've got an idea or suggestion for you, and we can go from there. Next, you want to understand why they're here. So what motivated you to get on the line with me today? Here you're trying to uncover their problem. So ask questions. This entire process should be about 80% of your person talking to you and the other 20% of you talking to the person. So it should not be you just vomiting what you have to offer all over them. That's what makes sales a dirty word. That's what we don't want to do. Instead, we want to help the person come to some realizations in this process, maybe have a bit of a breakthrough, maybe understand what they're trying to solve and whether or not you're the right person to help them solve that. At the end of this conversation, both you and the person you're talking to should leave feeling like winners, even if you don't do business together, because you have helped them understand what's possible, and you have either said yes to a client or a customer that's the right one for you, or you've said no to somebody that isn't the right one, and that's okay. So understand why they're here. Then understand their situation. What do they do? What are they looking for? What is their situation in general? How long has it been like that? If you're a coach, you might ask them what their revenue is, what revenue they're hoping to get to. All of these questions, really kind of depend on your specific audience and offer. And I will say here that if you're not super clear on your audience and offer, I am going to be releasing a brand new version of the Side Gig Guru's 60-minute marketing game plan that you're going to be able to grab. And that game plan is going to walk you through in 60 minutes the process to put together the foundation of your marketing. So whether you're new to marketing or you've been around it for a while, whether you're doing everything yourself or you're outsourcing, that 60-minute marketing game plan can absolutely help you to get your mind organized around your marketing so that you'll be able to even get to this step of the sales process. So understand their situation is next. Then examine their pain. Do you have a process in place to XYZ, to hit your revenue goals? Do you have a process in place to get over that health hurdle? Do you have a process in place to have the vacation of your dreams? Do you have a process in place to plan for your retirement? Do you have a process in place for something to provide for your children if something were to happen to you prematurely? Do you have a process in place to save for their college education? Do you have a process in place to pay off your mortgage? Whatever it is that you help people do, ask them, do you have a process in place to do that thing? Do you have a process in place to earn an additional side income so you can quit the job you hate? Do you have a process in place that's going to allow you to get really great natural products that can help you to feel better? Whatever your offer is, insert it here. Do you have a process to do that? It's highly likely that they don't. That's why they're on the line with you. So this process, this 10-step process, is developed specifically to help the person that you're talking to have a psychological revelation while they're talking to you about what is really going on. Man, I've got this problem. This person wants to listen to my problem. They may or may not have something to help me. If they do, they're going to let me know. I've told them about my situation. I'm telling them right now why it's a problem for me. And next, in part 6, we're going to ask them, what is it that you want to have happen? What is it that you want to have happen? Well, gosh, I'd really like to be able to lose this 30 pounds for the last time. I've lost it 5 times and gotten it back every time. Or gosh, I'd really love to be able to leave my job. I would really love to be able to get the right wedding planner so that I can have the wedding of my dreams. I would really like to have somebody organize my vacation for me because I don't really know how to do that myself. Get them here in this section to identify what they want to have happen. And at this point, start to ask yourself, Can I help to solve that? If what they really want isn't what you do, it's okay to stop the conversation right here. I'm getting super excited about this and I'm going to have to cough because it's that time of year. And there have been things going through my house, probably like there have been things going through your house too. So you're going to talk to them about what they want. What's super refreshing here, when was the last time somebody asked you what you wanted? I mean, seriously, people don't ever ask you what they want. They just tell you what to do, especially if you have a job. They're never like, oh, what do you want this year, Meredith? What goals would you like to achieve away from the workplace? I mean, has anybody ever asked you that? Well, it's probably the same of your candidate that you're talking to here on the phone or on Zoom. Nobody ever asked them, well, what do you really want to have happen? And do you see how by leading this conversation, by listening, by truly actually caring for the person that you're talking to, you are leading them down a path to build trust, to build relationships. So even if they don't say yes to you now, they're going to remember this conversation because it's a valuable conversation and it gets right to the heart right away. Then you're going to jump into part 7, which is responsibility. This is where you kind of recap. If you've ever been through any kind of sales or conversational training or even coaching training before, you'll know that it usually starts with an intro, then it goes into information gathering, and then you repeat back to the person what you've heard. So let me make sure I understand, Susan, this is what it is I'm hearing you say. This is what's happening. Do I have that right? Okay, good. I understand. Now you're making sure that they know that you've heard them, which is very affirming for the person you're talking to. So tell me, what's stopping you from achieving that goal on your own? Now you're really going to get to the root of it. And that's the whole point. The objections that I showed earlier in that authority frame, time, money, I need to ask my spouse, those are tier 1 objections. In order to get and understand the psychology of where the person is that you're talking to, you need to get to that deeper objection. And that deeper objection lies behind the cover of responsibility, right? It lies behind the cover of, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. Yeah, oh, it's money, it's time. Of course it's money and time. It's almost like you kind of want to call bullshit on that and say, you know what? I know you're going to tell me you either don't have enough time or you don't have enough money, but what is it that you really want? What is it that you really need? Do you really have a process in place? What's stopping you from getting there? But that approach might be a bit much in an environment where you're talking to somebody that's a total and complete stranger. I would say to a good girlfriend, okay, stop the BS, what's going on? But to somebody I hadn't met, I don't know if that'd be the right approach. So how do you soften that a little bit? Ask them, hey, so can I ask you, what's stopping you from getting where you want to be? Why do you want to know that? Because you really want to help them get where they want to be. That's the whole reason that you're in this conversation. At this point, your goal is one of 3 things. Get them to realize that they're not going to get where they want to go on their own. Get them to realize that they can go faster to where they want to be with your help. Or get them to realize that you have a system or a solution that's going to give them guidance from somebody who's actually done what they already want to know how to do. That's how somebody's going to leapfrog. And a lot of people want to leapfrog. They know they're never going to do it on their own because it's highly likely if they were going to, they already would have. And maybe the issue is that they don't know how to do some of the things they want to do, so they want to get there faster. Even in the example of our person that just wants to get some really cute leggings for her upcoming vacation to Maui over spring break, her issue is time. She doesn't have enough time. She wants to get there faster. She just wants to get those darn leggings sent to her front door and she wants to get the best price. Okay, great. You pick up the phone. You can go through these 10 points with them really, really quickly, figure out what it is they want, get them their leggings, and off we go. So even in less emotionally driven or less significantly sized offers, like $100 versus $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 offers, this process still holds weight. So now you're going to figure out beyond that if this person's a good fit for you. So before you move on, you've got to have found their pain, figure out what they're struggling with, and you also want to diagnose whether or not they have the level of commitment to work with you. That is going to vary based on what it is you're selling. There's not a ton of commitment in buying a pair of pants or ordering some skincare or some vitamins. but there is a ton of commitment in somebody working with you if it's going to be in any kind of coaching program, whether that's a health coach, a fitness program, joining into any kind of a membership, or any significantly priced product. There needs to be a different level of commitment. So you need to gauge in this conversation, how engaged is this person with you? Are they there with you? Are they talking with you? Are they really like expressing interest? Are they leaning in, although probably virtually, but you can hear that when you're talking to somebody. Are they really like pouring out their soul to you, and are they seeing and hearing and understanding what you're saying? And if so, they're leaning in. If they're kind of like, I don't know, like their energy is really low, they're just kind of like, I'm not really sure I'm on the phone with you anyway, then you have to really start asking yourself whether or not, number one, you might be able to help them, but do they want to help themselves? And number two, is this somebody that you want to work with? So you've got to make this decision. That's step number 8. Do I want them in my client portfolio? Is this somebody that I want to work with? We have all had problematic clients. And again, I don't mean to beat up the example of the leggings, but I have great friends that are in apparel businesses, and I know that they have people that every single time they buy something, they return it. Oh, well, it didn't fit. Oh, well, it wasn't the right color. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. You have to ask yourself, is that a person that I want to continue to do business with? Does that make sense? Or is that someone that's taking my time from being able to help more people? If you have those higher end programs, if you are coaching, or if you are offering people education, if you're offering courses, if you're offering mentorships or memberships, ask yourself, is this the one member of the group that's going to demand 80% of my time, but really only bring 5% of the value? And it is absolutely okay in this process to say, you know what, to the candidate, you know what, Charlotte, thank you so much for sharing all of this with me tonight. After listening to what you say, I'm not really sure that what I have is going to be a fit for you right now. People that I work with typically are, and then explain to them who it is you typically work with, and allow them to see why they may not yet be a fit, or why they may not yet be ready, and then make some suggestions for them. But please don't feel like you need to say yes to everybody. That truly is what makes sales, I keep saying it, makes sales a dirty word, is when we sell something to someone that we know it's not a fit for in the first place, especially if they have a big problem, and especially if they're desperate to solve it. A really skilled salesperson, you've heard the saying, can sell ice to Eskimos. Do not sell ice to Eskimos. Sell ice to Eskimos who need it. Right? Sell ice to the people who need the ice, not ice to the people who don't. Because while it might feel really good to put a whole bunch of money in your, checking account right now, it's going to feel like crap to have to service that person. It's going to chip away at your own integrity, and eventually it will come back to bite you in the butt because it wasn't a good fit. If you're going to take the responsibility to own the authority of the sales process, take the responsibility to only say yes to the clients that are the best for you. All I'm going to say about that, it's clearly a emotional point for me, because I've been on both sides of that equation, and you just don't want to be there. My very, very first job out of university was actually in property casualty, life and disability insurance sales. And I saw a lot of people sell, and I saw a lot of people sell and do very, very well because they built relationships with people, and they at times asked them the hard questions that needed to be asked, but they took the time to understand that person's problem and make the right recommendation. And then I saw other people who maybe in the beginning made more money because they just slammed people through the sales process, but they never built relationships. They never serviced them. They didn't really have integrity. They were just chasing the money. And in the end, those are the people that didn't stick around. So ask yourself who you want to be in this process. Follow this 10-step system that I'm outlining for you. And I will guarantee you that not only will your revenues increase, but your reputation will precede you, and you will be shocked at the number of referrals, the number of positive reviews, testimonials, and feedback that you get from the people that you work with. Okay, so let's wrap it up here. You're going to slow it down. So if you say in part 8 that this is somebody you want to work with, then in part 9, you're going to slow it down and you're going to ask them. This is permission based. So Charlotte, would you like me to tell you about what we do or what I do and how I think it might be a good fit for you? Wait for them to say yes. During the course of this conversation, they may have decided that they just aren't sure that you're the right one for them. Wouldn't you rather know that now than later when you're following up with them for the 15th time and they're ghosting you and you're mad about it? Would you like to know how I can help you? I bet you 95% of the people are going to tell you yes, but you want to use this as a process to weed out the ones that aren't a fit. Totally fine. And then in step 10, you need to state your offer. I like to do this in a system of what I've called pillars. So pillar number 1. So here's what I offer. There's 4 parts to it. The first pillar is this, and it solves this problem. The second pillar is this, and it solves that problem. The third pillar is this, and it solves yet another problem. The fourth pillar is this, and remember how you said you didn't want XYZ? Well, it helps with that. Maybe you have 3 pillars, maybe you have 5 pillars. I wouldn't do any more than that. And then after I would give them some kind of statement, here it says you can expect to start seeing results in the first 14 days if you follow the system, whatever that promise is that you know that you can deliver on, make that statement and then stop talking. Beautiful. Stop talking. Silence is your friend in this process. Silence is what allows you to maintain the authority. Amateur salespeople do not know when to shut up. They keep going and they keep going and they keep going. And that's why people feel sold to. A lot of people will get on the line with you and they will already be ready to buy. So the faster you can make this process, the better. But the more you elongate it, the worse it gets, right? Because that's when you start doing the puking again, and you don't want to do that. So this is a point of time where you can start to take their objections. The first thing that somebody is naturally going to ask you for is, what is the price? How much does it cost? Well, the investment for X is just Y, and then stop talking. The investment for X is just Y, and then stop talking. Don't respond to anything unless they ask you a direct question. Oh, okay, cool. Well, how do I get started? Great. What's the next step? Great, let's do it. How can I pay you? Do you have payment plans? If they ask you something like that, they're ready to buy. So make sure that when you enter into this process, you're ready to answer those questions. Make sure that you know how you're going to take payments. Make sure you know if you have a payment plan. Make sure you know if your pricing is flexible. Already know those answers so that you're not having to think on the fly in the sales process. And also so that you're equitable to everybody that you're working with. Great. When they say, awesome, how much is it? Okay, cool. It's, $1,500. Awesome. Great. I'm ready to go. What's the next step? Okay, awesome. Well, I can go ahead and take your payment and, process that information for you right over the phone. My preference is to do that right in that sales process rather than send them to a landing page or a checkout page for them to purchase, because that's just another step for them to go through. If somebody tells you yes, and you can hear them taking their card out of their wallet, then you want to go ahead and secure the sale in that moment, because that's what they want to have happen. Don't allow an opportunity for those back doors to open up as soon as they hang up that phone with you. You want to get that person to the next step that they're telling you that they want. This is where you need to release the energy of, I'm hungry and desperate for the sale. They're saying, I like what you have. I want to buy it. So let them. They are an adult. They are making a decision. Allow them to buy it with ease. The easiest way right in that moment is to take their information over the phone. If you have to, send them to a quick checkout page and then follow up with them later. I prefer to not have to create a follow-up process for people. I think it's just easier. Life is too busy. Why not just secure their position in your program right now? But this is also when you're going to have to start overcoming objections. And I'm not going to dive a ton into those tonight because we're quickly running out of time. But if you do want to go ahead and get this script, like I said, just grab it from the notes of the podcast or comment script here in the group, and I'll make sure to share it with you. So there's a whole lot of ways that you can close the conversation. But my favorite one is to actually say to people, so what is it that you like best? What is it that you liked best? With a big smile on my face, because I know there's something here for them to like. And when they say to me what it is they like, then I nod and I say, awesome. It sounds like you're ready to get started. And when they say, well, yeah, I say, great. Well, would you like to go ahead and get your registration secured tonight? I just need to grab your credit card details and go from there. Or let's go ahead and I'll share my screen and I can pull up the checkout page for the leggings. We can make sure to pick the right size for you. I'll just need to grab your payment information and off you go into the sales process. If they start to backpedal, well, I'm not sure. I need to ask my husband. I need to ask my spouse. I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if I have the money. Then you're going to be at the point where you need to get into the conversation of overcoming objections. And that's definitely a topic for a future episode. So for those of you that have joined me here tonight, thank you so much. For those that are catching this on the replay or catching it on Home-Based Business 101 on Spotify or Apple, great to have you here. Just quickly want to let you know that I have launched a membership program that is called The Collective. I'm finding so many entrepreneurs out there just simply don't have access to great teaching when it comes to marketing and sales, and they're not yet at a point where they are in a position to step into a significant coaching program, but they want to continue to level up their game when it comes to those two topics. So I've created a membership program that allows you for a low monthly payment to engage in weekly live webinars and lessons, monthly Q&As, and quarterly planning sessions to move your business forward. So if that's something that you want to check out, I would recommend you just go to meredithbenka.com/collective and go ahead and grab your space today. We'll see you again next week on the next edition of Home-Based Business 101. For now, have a great night and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody.